Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Rambles. Today I'm going to talk about something a little difficult. I'm going to talk about the shooting in Minnesota. Now, those of you living under a rock, a woman in Minnesota was shot and killed by an ICE agent. There is a short video clip, a cell phone video clip of it that occurred, of the events. And there's been a lot of discussion about this. On both sides of the argument. People saying that it was unjustified, people saying it was justified. I forced myself to watch the video clip because I initially didn't want to, but I felt that I had to say something because of my emotional reaction to the events surrounding this incident. I watched the video. The video is from behind the vehicle. I don't know what led up to this incident, so I can't say anything about that. You see gentlemen get out of a vehicle, of a truck, a gray unmarked truck, approach the vehicle. There's some talking. You can hear a woman screaming in the background, "No, no." It's irrelevant, but it's pretty much all I can hear. And I believe it's the voice of the woman who's making the recording, and she's all I can hear for the most part. You see individuals approach the vehicle. Some of these individuals are masked. You see one person step in front of the car. The woman backs up her vehicle. You see the vehicle back up. You see it pull forward and go around, and you see an officer fire at the vehicle. These are the rough outline of the events. I want to make a couple things clear. One, the officer standing in front of the vehicle had cleared his gun before the vehicle was moving towards him. He wasn't pointing it, but he had his gun out like this. As she was backing up, he pulled his gun. At the time he pulled his gun, his life was not in danger. The woman was not a danger to the people around her because there was no one behind her vehicle. There were actually only 3 or 4 people around her vehicle at the time. There was no crowd of ICE agents. So he placed himself in front of her vehicle and pulled the gun the minute she started to move. Basically, pretty much when she started to move. When she moved forward, he was still in front of the vehicle. At that point, he fired. It is difficult to see whether or not she hit him. He did not go down. If she did strike him, it was a very minor clip. She was not moving quickly, so she may have bumped him a little. You do see him back away quickly, but it's unclear if she actually touched him because there was another individual in the way. He then fired 2 more shots in quick succession, at which point the car drifted into another vehicle. I looked it up, and I've also watched news clippings of this. It is against both police and DHS policy to place yourself in a situation where you may be forced to use deadly force to defend yourself. In which case, in this instance, putting yourself in front of a moving vehicle is against policy. It is also against DHS and police policy to shoot at a vehicle that is fleeing. This officer was in the wrong on multiple counts. The narrative that he was shooting to defend himself from the president's Twitter account and Christian Nome are both lies. They are factually incorrect. I kept this image behind me because it shows the shot that was fired while he was still in front of the vehicle. This is the only shot which could be justified. The vehicle is moving towards him. He fired a bullet. From the image, from the windshield impact, that impact is approximately here. This is not a fatal shot. From someone standing in front of the vehicle, this would have at best grazed the woman's shoulder. The other two shots that were fired, one of which was lethal, was fired through the passenger side window as she was going by him. These shots were not done in self-defense. These were either panic shots or retaliatory shots, shots done in rage. So he fired like this, and then as she drove past him, he did that as she drove by. The lethal shot was not done in self-defense. And as tragic and unnecessary and angry as this makes me, it is not what truly infuriated me. What has really made my blood boil is the conversation surrounding the incident. It is our government blindly defending the reckless actions of an officer of the federal government and lying to do it. That is angering and infuriating. But even more so to me are the people who are saying she got what she deserved. I am shaking right now. I am so angry at these people. People saying, well, if she'd just done what they told her to, she would still be alive today. Blaming her, saying it's her fault, absolving the officer of any responsibility for his actions. This is maddening. I can barely speak about this. I am so enraged by these people. This blatant disregard for the death of another person, saying she in some way is responsible for her own death. This is beyond anything. There is no justification for this. This is just a blind willfulness, a blind willfulness to support the death of someone because you don't agree with them. That is all that is. There is no other way to phrase that. You don't care that someone behaved recklessly and killed someone else. You don't, because you disagree with their point of view. Anyone who says that, anyone who is dismissing this woman's death as her own fault, is garbage. You are scum. I cannot phrase it any other way. Did this woman behave recklessly? Did this woman ignore an order from a federal officer? Yes. I will not deny that. That in no way excuses her death. That in no way excuses the actions which were contrary to departmental policy and the reckless behavior of the officer involved. It is his fault entirely, and no one else's. It is not her fault. I'm done. Good hunting.